5 Australian universities have banned or restricted Indian students from studying in a response to a rise in so-called fraudulent applications. Here's what's happening. So emails from Victoria University, Edith Cowan University, the University of Wollongong, Torrens Uni and Southern Cross Uni, seen by the Sydney Morning Herald, have shown that they may not consider applications from students coming from certain Indian states. And this comes after the Department of Home Affairs noticed a surge in applications from South Asia, and in fact this year is looking to be Australia's biggest ever annual intake of Indian students. And that's because in January 2022, the Morrison government lifted the 20-hour per week work cap, meaning there are no longer any restrictions on how many hours international students can work. John Chu from global education firm Navitas told the Sydney Morning Herald the volume of students arriving has come back a lot stronger than anyone was expecting. And among this surge, universities have noticed an increase in applications that they say don't meet the Australian visa requirements for a genuine temporary entrant who's coming solely for education. That's either incomplete applications or applications with fraudulent information or documentation. Now, the Department of Home Affairs actually confidentially rates each country for the risk of its immigrants violating Australian entry requirements. So students coming from countries with higher risk ratings are required to provide more evidence that they won't overstay their visa or work more than they're allowed to. So why are universities restricting access for Indian students? Well, unis actually get risk ratings too, and they don't want Home Affairs looking at them too closely or considering them higher risk, because that could reduce their powers over fast-tracking their own students' visas, which would result in a financial loss. So at least these 5 universities have either placed outright bans or restrictions on student applications from some of India's most populated states, including Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan and Gujarat. Victoria University's regional recruitment manager, Alex Hanlon, wrote in an email, "In an effort to strengthen the profile of students from areas where we have seen increased visa risks, VU will implement a higher level of requirements in some areas in India." And Adelaide's Torrens University said it was now looking carefully at each area where our applications come from and considering only very strong applications from some Indian states, while the University of Wollongong has introduced a genuine temporary entrant test on students from India, Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Lebanon, Mongolia, Nigeria, and other countries deemed a risk by the Department of Home Affairs. But all of this came within days of Prime Minister Anthony Albanese's visit to India, where he announced a new university agreement that included a mutual recognition of qualifications between Australia and India, basically making travelling to either country for study easier. So Australian students are welcome to study in India without too much trouble, but if you're coming the other way, depending on what part of India you're from, our government and our universities aren't too sure.